It kind of crosses normal boundaries, that's all we'll say about it. Let's make sure we eat dinner first.
Because we've been confined in such a small space.
You need to do this.
Relationships within our relationship, I think that it could go sideways fairly quickly.
Go completely crazy. And sometimes I sort of groan about it, but that's what we do.
Chaos.
You do have to schedule time away from it.
We can work better together and we can like function better in this tiny space.
If everything is in flux.
We are two people living in, you know, essentially 20 feet of living space.
Small piece of wood dividing you.
It's a real thing.
That's a real thing. How has living on a sailboat changed our relationship?
Hello and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. We're doing more of a sit down and talk style video. If you have been with us for a while, you may remember that we started this thing called Coffee on Blue Moon and we made one episode and that was about it. But we're really excited to hopefully make some more of these. So let us know if you do like this kind of style of video. I think it'd be really fun to like pop them in between our vlogs and stuff. This is going to be a bit of a longer talkative video. So if you want to put us on in the background while you're doing chores, whatever. I know I really like to do that with these videos. So hopefully we can...
Podcast style.
Yeah, podcast style. Hopefully you can listen to this whether you're sitting down watching us with a nice cup of coffee or tea or something, or doing something that isn't always the most fun. I always find that these sorts of videos kind of help take my mind off whatever I'm doing. For example, laundry.
Yes. This week has been super busy at work and school and stuff, so we're filming this on a Friday and it'll come out on Sunday. It's probably our most caught up video ever, and yeah, we hope you enjoy it. And
as always, thank you so much to our patrons who are the biggest sponsor of this channel. We really couldn't do this without you. So without further ado, today we're going to talk about how our relationship has changed over the last 2 years while living on our 30-foot Catalina sailboat. It's a little late in the evening, so we decided to take a non-caffeinated beverage.
Non-caffeinated, that's all we'll say about it.
We took a couple notes to help us stay on track. So first of all, how long have we been together? Just in case. I feel like we haven't talked much about our relationship, so yeah. How long have we been together? We've
been together just over 5 years. We met in person on campus, actually, at UVic. Yeah. How long have we lived together? How long have we lived in the same place?
We've lived together for maybe 3 years, do you think?
Yeah, I think 3 years. I started hanging around the house a lot after about a year, but I wasn't on the lease officially for a long time. So I would go and come back at different hours of the day. Yeah. But yeah, we've lived in the same residence together now for 3 years. And about half of that time, I guess, has been on the boat. Yeah, so we got the boat in 2020, and it's 2022, so yeah, we're actually coming up really close to a full 2 years on the boat. Jillian's been on the boat pretty much for 2 years straight since she bought it at the beginning of the pandemic. And I move around a lot more. So during the summer I go back to the northern interior for work and have done that for several years. So we've always kind of had that breakup, or we've always had that separation in our work life and school time. So I've always traveled to the northern interior for at least 4 months during the summertime, and that's kept me off the boat just because I needed to be different places for work. Yeah. We're excited because this year, theoretically, I can stay. This is the first time I won't be going north on a regular basis for work, so I'm really excited for a summer actually here on the boat. We don't actually know where we're going to keep the boat yet, but anyway, we're kind of getting off topic. Yeah, that'll be a whole other video. Yeah. What do you think has changed about our relationship since moving aboard? Okay, one of the main like textbook changes that's happened, I don't know if that's what you call it, but like up until we moved onto the boat, we'd always had multiple roommates, and so this is the first time we actually lived alone. Both of us, like I guess we're living together, but I had never lived alone before. You'd never lived alone before. So that was a change. What did it mean for you and I to be on our own without roommates? Not that we didn't like our roommates, we love them. Oh, I miss our roommates so much. It was really nice, and it is really nice to have our own space. And yeah, it's kind of funny, like in a way it's easier to take care of our space, but it's also not as easy because we have a lot more workload
not to mention the fact that it's a boat, and I have personally found renting a house was way less work than owning and maintaining a boat. It's really nice to have a space of our own that we can do what we want with, and yeah, cook when we want to cook and decorate, and yeah, it's really just our own vessel, which is really nice. We've never had that before, and yeah, that was a big change, seeing like how you and I would actually participate in making this vessel, like turning it into our home, because I think like that home space is really important, but we have different meanings of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting part. So when we were living together in a house, we had sort of a shared room space, and you kind of make the room your own. You can decorate and stuff. But because you share the building with other people, you don't have as much autonomy as, you know, as far as how you want to use the space where you keep things. So even though the boat is smaller and we moved onto it, we lost space. In a lot of ways, it opened up the potential for us to sort of have a place to live together, because it's all ours. We only have to negotiate the living space and the living patterns with each other. Have our daily rhythms of being a couple changed since moving aboard?
I think so.
I definitely think so.
Yeah, they've changed significantly. I'm just trying to think of...
The biggest thing for me is that we have our time alone and our time together is way more discreet and more scheduled. One of the big features of the boat is that it's very hard to have your own space. We have about 20 feet of living space. You're either in the V-berth, in the bathroom, in this living area, or you're in the kitchen. If one of us wants space to ourselves to read or listen to music or think or sort of just be alone, you basically have to go outside. Whether that means like going to a coffee shop or going for a walk or going for a drive, something like that. And that's a bit of a change. Like when we were living together in the house, you know, we could go to a different room, or we might hang out with different people in the house. It could be more casual, but that time apart now is way more deliberate, and like it's scheduled. I'm pretty much gone every day from 6 o'clock until 6. I have like a 45-minute commute on the bus, which is okay. But it's also time apart. What do they say? Like, distance makes the heart grow fonder. Like, we've noticed that what times that I've been unemployed or there's no work or I'm here in the boat, if we're both in the boat all day, just like hanging out, trying to work or do things, it gets a little tight. Like, you know, that's when...
Oh, yeah.
That's when you might, you know, tensions between parties might get a little higher, and it's just hard. Yeah, no one probably wants to spend, in a regular work week, no one probably wants to spend 24 hours a day, you know, 5 feet away from another person, no matter how much you care for them.
Yeah, and like, I think we find alone time more important and more harder to achieve in the winter as well, because when we have bad weather, you know, it's harder to go on a walk. We're both trying to just kind of stay warm sometimes. And yeah, that's when we've really noticed how important alone time makes, even if it's just for a little bit. The other thing to consider is like even this table that we're sitting at, this is where we eat, this is where we hang out, this is my office, like this is where I work, this is where you work if you're like at home. And yeah, this table is a tiny little table. So yeah, alone time is definitely important in order for us to sort of function well in the tiny little space that we have.
Yeah. How have our professional lives, our relationship with each other changed since moving aboard? What's the big thing?
Oh, can you give me a hint?
We have a YouTube channel. We're in a business together.
Yeah, so yeah, that is totally a huge change in our relationship.
Yeah.
We went from just being partners to also business partners. Business partners.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been a huge learning curve, because previous to that, we had never really worked on projects together. We never really run a business together. I feel weird calling it a business.
Well,
I don't know what else to call it.
It is a business. It's a very modest and small one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, we have to schedule work. Putting out videos is a lot of work. Jillian does the lion's share of it. But we both have duties that we need to get done. We have to do them on time. And if we run into problems like doing our work, that causes other issues and stuff. So we have to schedule work. We have to negotiate things. Like, we have to negotiate how much we're willing to take from different sponsorships, both between each other and with the with the parties. We have different ways of engaging with you guys, like with the audience, that we have to split up. So thank you very much, everyone, for your comments. You can imagine us on like a Sunday evening or Sunday morning. Sometimes we'll each take comments on different videos or things like that. So making videos together and doing projects has been a massive change in our daily relationship, because it's not just about, you know, what do we want for dinner and where do we want to plan to travel or see different things or do different things. There's also an element of like, when are we going to do our work?
The other thing that we've really been working on fairly recently, as our channel has like picked up a little bit, slowly picked up a little bit, is like delineating separating time for work and time for life when you live with the person who you're doing work with.
Yes.
It's like, and I think for me too, like I'm just kind of always thinking about YouTube.
Yes.
And
Jillian,
I love it.
Jillian never turns off her YouTube or working brain.
But it's important to do that, and I've been really working on that.
Yeah. And
together we've been really working on that, because it is important to take time off from that. Yeah. And it can be really hard, you know, like when I see Jonas, it's like, oh, there's the guy I need to tell.
Yeah, I have an idea. Let's get rolling. Yeah, so just to give you guys a picture of a week for us, I go to work all day, usually from like 6 to 6. I don't work for that long, just the commute and walking. By the time I get home, it's about that amount of time. And you're pretty much at school from like 7:30, you leave 7:30, 8.
Yeah, I bounce around from like school
go to the gym.
Boat. Yeah.
So maybe you get home around 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I come home from work. Everything that happens on this YouTube channel happens between the hours of 6:30 or 7 until like 9:30 or 10 on the weekdays. And then on the weekends, if we have the chance, we can do some filming, do editing, and answer some comments and stuff. And when your main sort of working partner at your side job is your significant other, like Jillian and I, you do have to schedule time away from it. We could talk about projects either with the boat or with YouTube constantly, and we would never have time to just like talk about our days or hang out together or eat meals together and stuff. So we've gotten better at that over the last, I would say, few months.
Yeah.
Of like trying to make space, section it out. It also makes us work faster. Like it's like, okay, we're going to take an hour, do this work for YouTube, and then we can go on and do something else.
Yeah.
In summary there, the sailboat's changed everything, because now we have a modest and small but real business together. And I don't think it's necessarily true. Like, everybody warns you against doing business, I think, with your family or with your partner. There is definitely some risk, because how do you delineate, as Jillian said, how do you separate work and life and love and family and everything else? It's hard, but I think if people are deliberate about it, it can work. And the great thing is, like, we can really sync up in our communication. Like, if we're trying to get something done, as long as we're both like well caffeinated, well fed, and like had a pretty good sleep, like we can pound through different ideas. When one of those variables isn't met, we definitely can get a little snippy with each other. But
yeah, but I think also, like, we're learning so much about each other that we're even getting better at recognizing that.
Oh yeah.
Like, hold on, like, we need to eat dinner before we do this, because otherwise it's just not going to work.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, we have way more conversations like that. It's like, okay, we need to do this project or film this video. Let's make sure we eat dinner first. And at this point, it's like 7 o'clock, so that we don't have a hanger fight later. And it's, you know, suddenly becomes 9:30 or something we haven't eaten. So, yeah, those little details, in a way, working together kind of clarifies them. You can also be way more raw. Like, if you're trying to do a project together, I've appreciated this about you. You can kind of just say, like, you need to do this, or you need to do that. Like, you need to do X number of things. We need these items. We need to be prepared in this way. It kind of crosses normal boundaries of how partners might talk to each other, because we have some sort of common objective.
I think with YouTube and with life and just with like living on a boat in general, I think we've learned a lot more about each other.
Yes.
Because we've been confined in such a small space, and because we've sort of taken on these new relationships within our relationship, you know, like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot more about each other, and then as a result, we can work better together, and we can, like, function better in this tiny space.
Yes.
Because, yeah, I think functionality is really, really important. If someone were to, like, come into this lifestyle and not be super intentional about it, I think that it could go sideways fairly quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's call it the background framework of a relationship, or at least the background framework of our relationship. On the surface, we have the sort of glow. It's like, we're moving on to a sailboat. It's going to be cheaper than living in an apartment. We're going to have this place that we live that we can theoretically sail around. We live in a beautiful spot. But behind all of that, it's like, how are you going to make dinner? Who's going to go grocery shopping? Who's going to do the laundry? Who's going to do the dishes? And when you add on the layer of, like, doing business together, we basically have to be pretty deliberate about things. Mm-hmm. We can't really leave it up to, or at least that's been, I think, our experience so far. We can't leave it up to just feeling and intuition, who should do what, when we should do it. We've needed more scheduling and intention, as you say. We've needed more intention to, like, basically not go completely crazy. And I don't think this is that different. It's probably very similar. We've never owned a house or really rented our own space or bought a place together. It's probably not that different from, like, having a shared mortgage. We'll probably watch this video in years and feel weird about our different naiveness. Of course, that's always what happens. But yeah, as soon as you're engaging in, like, those big lifestyle planning activities with someone, you have to talk to each other about the granular details. That's one of your favorite things, actually, when you get to, like, plan the day. It's like, yeah. Sometimes I'll wake up on, like, a weekend morning and I'm groggy, and, like, Jillian's out, you know, doing different things out in the cabin. And just, like, one of the first things you say to me is, like, let's make a plan for the day. And sometimes I sort of groan about it, but that's what we do. Like, that's the only way we can operate successfully now, is by making those little plans.
Yeah, because we never used to do that.
No, we never. No, in the first couple of years of our relationship, we never made plans for the day. And maybe it's like post-COVID, or not post-COVID, but maybe, like, we're coming out the other side of the pandemic. We have more work and more obligations and stuff. Maybe it's just a workload thing and less about being on the boat, but...
Yeah, and I think, too, a communication thing. Like, you know, I've always kind of had a rough plan in my head about, like, what I need to do and stuff, but to communicate that to you and vice versa, I think really helps, because then we know what each other's priorities are for the day.
Yeah.
What are, like, together, what our priorities need to be for the day. Like, what do we need to get done? What's coming up? Yeah, I just think communication.
It's kind of funny. It's funny to talk about this. The things we've said so far, everybody does them. Mm-hmm. And to some extent, maybe what the moving aboard the boat has done for us is made them necessary. It's made these types of things very necessary. We've had periods of time, usually, like, characterized by my unemployment, or I'm waiting for a job or something else, where it's just kind of everything is in flux.
Yeah, chaos is the perfect
chaos
word.
And that's the hardest time to be living like this, because at least for me, and I think for us, you lose the underlying structure, and then it's just sort of flounder. Like,
I think, though, like, those times have helped us solidify what we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think without them, that maybe we wouldn't have created, like, maybe we wouldn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, maybe we wouldn't put so much emphasis on, like, communicating and making plans and, like, making sure each other know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because structure, like, I feel like a job kind of naturally gives you structure, and it can be easy to just, like, let that go by.
Yeah.
So I do think those times of chaos helped us actually, like, solidify a lot of the functionality that we try to do now.
Yeah. Let's talk about chores.
Yes.
How has living aboard changed our chores and, like, our how we share domestic work?
Yeah, that's super interesting, because I feel like even in the last couple months, our duties aboard have well, our duties.
Captain Jillian.
I think they've actually really started to solidify, and we've fallen into a really nice groove. And there's like, we don't need to talk to each other as much about like, oh, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. You and I just know kind of what we normally do, and we do that. Like, for example, I love to cook, and so I do.
I love to eat.
But I do most of the cooking. It's really fun for me, and yeah, it's a really great time. Like, Jonas hangs out, and but we can talk, and it's a good time to.
Yeah, I sit right where Jane is sitting. She cooks. Well, the thing is, you can only fit one person in the kitchen. It's a one-person kitchen. Yeah. On very rare occasion, we've both cooked at the same time, and there's no space. Like, you can't.
No,
maybe
like
I'm
sometimes
like preparing
you'll chop
something
here.
on the table, or yeah.
So that's been, and like obviously sometimes you cook, but I've taken on like the main role of cooking, which has worked out really well. And on the other side of that, you've taken on the role of like cleaning up after dinner. So I kind of do like the pre-dinner, dinner, and then you'll do the dishes and you'll tidy up afterwards. And that's really helped. So we go to bed with a clean boat. Yeah,
you could almost think of us as like pivoting through the space throughout the evening. Mm-hmm. So like, come home from work. Usually we have a bit of YouTube stuff to do, and then when we start making dinner, I'll be in this space, Jill will be in the galley, and then we'll both eat here. We like to watch TV, like watch Parks and Rec or something, and then we switch. So I'll be over here, I'll be doing the dishes, cleaning up and stuff. You'll usually be at this space for a while, you might do some more work, and then at this point it's probably usually like 9 or 9:30. And then we start getting ready for bed. And even when we get ready for bed, things like brushing your teeth and flossing, it can only be like...
There's only room for one in the head.
There's only room for one person in the bathroom when you're getting ready for bed. So even that we do in a separated way.
Yeah, we just kind of like rotate in and out.
Yeah.
Which, believe it or not, has taken a while to like get into that routine.
Yeah, it has. Like in the beginning, I think we both kind of like, you just used to
both being able to like brush our teeth at the same time, right?
Yeah, and you don't really have to think about it as much when you can both stand in a kitchen or a bathroom together, like, but we do have to think about it now more. Basically, we have domestic roles that are more structured than they used to be. Mm-hmm. Like
for example, I can't remember last time I got water, because you've taken on the role of filling up the water once or twice a week, depending on how much water we use.
Yeah.
And the tarp too, that kind of, I feel like we kind of share putting up and down the tarp, just depending on
the weather, time of day.
Yeah, like I'm on the boat a lot more often, so I'm more likely to take down the tarp or put it up. But yeah, I think obviously there are lots of chores in a house, but I think the boat is unique in the sense that we have different chores, and sometimes it takes us more effort and time to do that. Like, we do have to fill up our water tanks. We do have to walk to go to the shower.
Do the laundry and stuff.
Do the laundry. Like, things... It's simple things that we have to do, but it takes more time. Like, you usually do the laundry on a weekend when I'm, like, trying to cram a paper in or something.
That's a funny experience. Because the boat is kept in a very urban area, and I have to walk, like, it's getting busier now in the season. So when it's laundry day, I take, like, this big bag of laundry, and I'll pass, like, 100 people on that. And usually when we're doing laundry, I'm wearing like the last of my clothing, like shorts or something. The place where we do laundry is kind of hidden. Like, you wouldn't know it's a laundromat necessarily unless you're looking into the building. So I always feel a bit funny carrying a bunch of dirty laundry around. But
get the odd weird look.
Yeah. I think the summary of the chores is that they're divided more than we used to be. Like, we probably used to just do them all kind of together. For example, like washing dishes together or cooking together.
We used to do like a lot of things together for no other reason than like it was just kind of nice to hang out. Like, we did used to cook together. We did used to clean up together. I don't know if we did laundry together. That was kind of a separate activity.
Well, laundry's easy if you just like chuck it in the machine in your house.
It takes 2 seconds.
Like, it doesn't. It takes a little bit longer. Usually there's a lineup and you have to walk over there and
A lot of these things I've really noticed in the past couple months, which is why I think we wanted to make this video, because it does take time to settle into a routine.
Yes.
And especially you know, when we first moved onto the boat, it was a huge novelty, like super exciting. It's like, wow, we live on a boat. And I still get those feelings, but we just do it in a more functional and efficient way, which we found is key. We've turned that chaos into...
Yeah, into a sort of a basic, boring air quotations lifestyle in most ways. Like, I was thinking this morning when I woke up, actually I was making coffee and I was sort of looking, the boat was rocking a little bit. And I was thinking, like, there's no difference now for us between this and some apartment or house somewhere else. All of the things that we would do in our daily life, going to work, going to school, hanging out with friends, it's pretty much all the same as it would be. That's one of the things we're really grateful for, and it's so amazing, is you get used to it. Like, the novelty wears off.
Yeah, like I think
the challenges wear off, and then this is just our home now. We can do all of our daily living from the boat as we would from anywhere else.
Like, I think we do... You're right, it's become normalized, I think, in our lives.
Yes, yeah.
But
yeah,
I
normal
think,
for us.
Like, I think we do still face different challenges. Like, like weather is a huge one.
No, of course, yeah. The challenges are different, but nothing is super... Oh, there's a horn. Nothing is, like, super shocking or surprising. Like, if it's bad weather or it's cold, we sort of notice it. It's like, okay, it's cold, put on our coat.
We know what it's going to be like. We
put
know
on
what
a heated
to expect.
blanket. Yeah. It's normal. Like, we've kind of seen most of the challenges.
Yeah, and I even think we're falling into a bit of a groove that way, more so in the summertime when we are off the docks. That will probably take a little longer, but we are finding routines and, like, pulling up the anchor, what do we have to do to get the boat ready to leave in the morning, where are we going, like, like, for example, Jonas has absolutely taken on the navigator role because I can't navigate. And I've taken on more of the helm, like I've taken on the helm.
Jillian pilots the boat. I just try and make sure we don't hit anything.
Exactly. There's lots of hazards over here.
By the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm an extremely novice sailor, and Jillian has been teaching me. In summary, Jillian, what has changed about our relationship? How has living on a sailboat changed our relationship?
I think the biggest thing is we have grown a lot closer. We know each other's needs better and, like, know each other's signals, and I think
needs, rhythms.
We can
plans.
Be more supportive of each other, I think, because of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, it seems pretty normal to us by now, but I think that, yeah, we have come a long ways considering we are two people living in, you know, essentially 20 feet of living space. And yeah, we've become a lot closer. Yeah. You know, I cook about 10 feet away from the head, which is about 2 feet away from the V-berth. Yeah.
You get real close to someone if you sleep like 1 foot away from where they go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
It's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Like, if you're going to the bathroom right next to where your partner is sleeping, like literally there's a small piece of wood dividing you, it makes you closer. Yeah. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. We're closer. Overall, we're better for it, I think.
Yeah. I think so too. I think we've grown a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, we've grown so much.
Yes.
When you look back.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have any other big takeaways, big things you want to say?
No other big thoughts.
Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have made it all the way through, we appreciate it so much. Let us know in the comments anything. We love seeing your comments.
Yes.
Even if it takes us a little while to respond to them.
We read every single comment, and we try our best to answer as many of them as we can. As we discussed in this video, sometimes sometimes the time is hard to find. But
we do read them all, we do see them all, and we're very, very grateful for every one of them.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much to our patrons. Several of you have been with us almost since the beginning, and it just means the world to us that you've chosen to support us. And of course, thank you so much to everyone who watched this video. Thank you to our audience. You guys rock.
We're so grateful. You're the whole reason that this channel's a thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we're still shocked every day that people take time out of their day to watch us. So.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed. Let us know if you want to see more of these. I had so much fun filming this. This has been...
Yeah, this is fun.
Really
we have our non-caffeinated beverage. Yeah.
Yeah. We hope this has come up on Sunday morning, so have an amazing morning. Have an amazing weekend. And
See you next week.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye!